to the workshop.
I picked up this moisture meter from a local Lidl for just £10, and I thought I'd do a quick review on it and a comparison test with a professional moisture meter. Testing on this very wet piece of wood that's been stored outside for a long time. The inside of the wood is reasonably dry, reasonably seasoned, but it's been raining for the last couple of days. So in the damp end, the Powerfix is just shooting right off the scale, whereas the Timber Master is giving us a reading in the roughly the 30s. So clearly, if you want to measure something that's above about 30% humidity, then the Timber Master's going to give you a more accurate reading. Inside the workshop, these little samples should be reasonably dry. This is a piece of oak, and that's reading 8 on the Timber Master. And I should say the prongs on these are in a different position, so I can't read in exactly the same place. The Powerfix is reading 8 as well, so that's good. Bit of softwood, a piece of pine, and we're reading 7.8, pretty much 8 again. And the Powerfix, that's reading 9. That's actually reading 9. So I'll just try that again with the Timber Master. Maybe we've got a better contact. And that's better. We've got a better contact now with this one, and that's reading 8.7. So again, they're very similar readings. I've got a large chunk here. Just try the end grain of this piece of, I think it's probably a piece of spruce. And I'm getting about 8.5, about 8.5 on the Timber Master. And I'm reading well, that's actually reading 10. So there's some discrepancy there between the two. Clearly experience would tell me that the Timber Master is going to be more accurate than the Powerfix, or say the tolerance should be a lot less on the Timber Master. So I think for less than a tenner, the Powerfix is giving us a reading in the low range, the sort of range that we would be considering when working with wood. That the measurements are within 10% of the Timber Master's measurements, so I think that's pretty accurate. And certainly for £10, that's worth leaving in the car. And if ever we turn up at a timber mill and we want to look for a piece of wood, want to just check out how dry it is, how seasoned it is, we can get pretty good readings from this. In terms of the actual device, it's quite a nice clear screen. It works on the graph a bar graph principle. There are two sets of readings here. One is for timber and one is for masonry. And as the bar goes up, we can read off on the correct scale exactly what the moisture content is supposed to be. It's got an automatic shut off. Well, that's just happened now, so that will save your battery. It comes with a calibration device which is fitted in the lid that protects these prongs, so you can recalibrate your machine at any time. Now, I think that's always worth doing as your batteries run down a bit. It's probably always worth recalibrating before you do a set of measurements, and then when you put new batteries in as well. It also comes with a handy little torch function on the end. Not brilliantly bright, but it might help you out in the back of a yard if you can't quite see what you're looking at. The screen's really easy to read. It's also got a belt hook on the back, which may come in handy. The plastic feels, you know, quite tough in the hand, but it may shatter if it's dropped. I'm not sure. I'm not going to do a test like that on it. One thing I would note about the torch, the LED protrudes beyond the case, so that is quite vulnerable, I think, from dropping on its end.
I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of workmanship inside.
The Timber Master, again a clear screen, but it has digits on there which you can just read out. See if we can get some up on there. That's very clear to read, and it's reading to 1 decimal place as well, so much more accurate. There is also a table of different wood species, and you can set here what wood species you're measuring, and apparently that makes a slight difference. There's also the option of using external probes on here. Again, it feels very rugged in the hand. I don't think it's going to fall apart, and it also has, which is a nice bonus, a rubber strip around here, very good for grip, and also if you drop it on its end, it's cushioned a little bit. So clearly a far superior model, but in terms of measurements, I'm sure the Timber Master is more accurate, and you can be much more precise in your readings. The Powerfix, I think, ideal for use in a timber yard when you're sourcing your material, perhaps 2-3 months before you want to use it, maybe even a year before you want to use it, just to give you a rough idea of how much longer you're going to need to acclimatise it for. I hope you found that interesting. Whether you decide to go ahead and buy one of these meters yourself, or one of the others that are out there and available, that's up to you.